Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hurricane HQ, and today we are starting off this video with some breaking news. So the Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk for severe weather for parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. And this extends all the way into the early morning hours of tomorrow. And before we start this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to never miss the next severe weather update. So currently we're looking at our Storm Prediction Center outlook, and as you can see, we have this enhanced risk right here. This is a huge enhanced risk, and I'm actually predicting they're going to issue a moderate risk by 2 p.m. Eastern, basically in the middle of that enhanced risk. Now, I would show where I think they'll be issuing that, but unfortunately my Epic Pen is messed up, and I am unable to use that in this video. But yeah, I believe they're going to have a moderate risk right in the center of this enhanced risk right here. So we could be seeing a pretty big potential severe weather outbreak. Now if we move on to our tornado threat, you could see we have a pretty decent chance of some tornadoes, 2% in this region, then 5% in the very center here. So we could be seeing a few spin-ups, maybe a tornado or two on the ground, but not the highest threat. If we take a look at our wind threat, this is overall the highest threat today. Not only at SPC, but all the weather models are saying we're going to be seeing very strong winds, especially in these thunderstorms and behind these this line of thunderstorms here. You can see we have a 30% chance in this red region for seeing winds of over 57 miles per hour. And we also have this little black region here. That is basically saying that you have the potential for significant winds, much stronger than 60 miles per hour. You could be seeing maybe maybe even into hurricane force winds, gusts behind or in these thunderstorms. And now let's take a look at our hail risk here. Now, pretty similar layout, but you could see that they have a 30% chance of hail moving all the way down from North Dakota all the way down to Nebraska. And in that area of significant hail, where we could be seeing hail over 2 inches or greater in that significant region. So now here is, this is my prediction for today's severe threats and how severe they're going to be. So I'm predicting that the damaging wind threat today is going to be extreme. Now, normally for these circumstances, I would say a high risk for damaging winds. Although, seeing that it's this widespread, this huge area, and a lot of people, probably at least 100,000 people in there, maybe a lot more, could be affected by these strong winds. So that's why I put an extreme risk out, because I feel like we could be seeing a pretty big number of people getting these strong winds. Now moving on to hail, I have a high risk for large hail. It's not going to be as high as the wind threat. Now, it's going to be pretty large hail. It's a high risk overall. But just not as many people are going to be exposed to this hail. I would have made it extreme also if more people are going to be exposed. But luckily, there aren't going to be many people exposed. So that means there's only going to be a high risk. Although, that still means that there's a high risk for wind and hail. So you have to be careful if you're in these impacted areas, as you could be seeing really strong winds or very large hail. Now moving on to our tornado threat. Luckily, the tornado threat remains low. This is my prediction. We're not really going to be seeing many tornadoes. Now, it's not none, like sometimes it is. Well, it's a low threat. We could be seeing a few spin-up tornadoes. Maybe 1 or 2 on the ground is possible. But yeah, not as much of a threat as the damaging wind and large hail. Here's our day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. And this is issued by the Weather Prediction Center, and it's not thunderstorms or anything. This is actually for rainfall, so you can see we actually have a moderate risk in parts of Mississippi here. This moderate risk for heavy rainfall means we could be seeing, this is a 20 to 50% chance of seeing a lot of flooding and flash flooding within 25 miles of any given location in that area. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of flooding down there. We even have flash flood emergencies down there. So you have to be careful if you're in this moderate risk area. Same with the slight, you have to be careful. Going to where the thunderstorms will be today, we have a marginal risk surrounding a slight risk here, as you can see. we have a slight risk. So we could be seeing some heavy rain associated with these storms, but it's not as big as a threat as the main risks. So here's our U.S. weather outlook and what we're basically going to be seeing all over the U.S. So we could be seeing a pretty big fire weather threat for parts of Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, and Colorado here. We have a pretty good fire weather threat. We have heavy rainfall threats for Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And again, with the I would say mid-Atlantic area too, you have pretty big risk for heavy rain. And now, if we finally take a look at the main area we'll be watching, you can see we have a severe thunderstorm possible region, and this is huge. This was actually issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and it is a huge area. And we can even seeing heavy rainfall and severe thunderstorms in one area. This is parts of South Dakota and North Dakota. We could be seeing that. So that's where you primarily have to look out for the heavy rainfall. And also to the west, on the west coast, we even have a chance for some mixed precipitation, snowflakes possible, maybe some freezing rain or anything like that is possible over there. Now if we take a look at our convective setup, and this is also my prediction, I made this. This is basically showing what the weather models are showing without actually having to show them to you, so it's pretty easy to understand here. So you can see I'm giving a high risk for instability or CAPE. That is a pretty big factor in severe thunderstorms. They need a lot of unstable air, and we definitely have that. We have a lot of unstable air. I am putting it in between high and extreme here. So we have to be watching out for that. That's a pretty big factor. Same with shear. We're going to have a lot of wind shear associated with this area. So definitely a high risk for wind shear. And if you head over to upper support, I'm not giving it a high risk. I'm giving it a moderate risk here. We don't have too much upper support, but there is some. So we have to be watching out for that. And the overall threat, I'm actually going to be giving it a high risk. Now, this is kind of on the lower side of the high risk region because of this moderate right here. But I think these two major factors, instability and shear, are kind of driving this into a high risk. And this can change too. If we could be seeing this go up maybe even to the extreme or near the extreme level. So we have to be watching out because we could be seeing a severe weather outbreak in the north central U.S. So here is our CAPE. I did mention that just a few minutes ago. So this is the actual map if you want to see that. We have really high CAPE values in North Texas, Oklahoma. Luckily, those areas aren't going to be seeing any thunderstorms, but to the north, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, you have pretty high CAPE levels, definitely good enough for severe weather, hail, very strong winds, maybe even tornadoes we could be seeing with this type of unstable air. So we have to be watching out, especially I would say Nebraska. That's like their highest risk area for some certain things. That's why we have a lot of CAPE there, getting up to maybe 5,000 there. So we have to be careful for that. And especially in North and South Dakota, we have to watch out because 3,000 to 4,000 CAPE is good enough. It's kind of going above and beyond. And here's our wind shear. Now, as you can see, we have this line that's going to form, and this is actually going to have wind shear in the line, which is pretty interesting setup. So we have a pretty high risk of, we have a lot of wind shear available for these storms. So we're going to be pretty good with wind shear. So now let's take a look at our composite reflectivity, and we're going to be taking a look at the NAM model for this. And I'm just going to show you how this storm's going to play out. So this is going to be about where today, I would say here, you can see we have a line starting to form here, but if we head over to the next, you can see we have a line starting to form. This is going to be the very first sign of a line forming. And you can see it doesn't get too strong, this line, but the more southern part does. The southern part will begin to intensify and get a lot stronger. And you can see it even starts to bow here. So we could be seeing a bow echo here, or maybe even a possible derecho, we could be seeing. And derechos are known to bring very strong winds, so we have to be watching out in these regions here. You can see we have pretty good bowing segment here, and you can see we have real strong thunderstorms in Nebraska, especially northern Nebraska. If you're in those regions, you have to be really careful, because we could be seeing the strongest of the winds and the strongest of the storms in those regions over there. And eventually it's going to weaken as we get into the Friday morning, but it's going to be pretty strong. And finally, here is my prediction on basically if this is going to become a 7 out of 10 prediction for this severe weather event here. So it's just basically 7 out of 10 chance what I'm giving it now. If the Storm Prediction Center does issue a moderate risk, I will actually bump this up to an 8. So I will be posting on my Twitter about all this kind of stuff on there, as I'm not going to be making videos all day. Now, I might go live later today. So if you want me to go live, definitely let me know down below. I might go live around 4 to 8-ish. I'm not sure about the timing yet, but when the thunderstorms start to fire up, I'll go live. So, yeah. Also, if anyone does have any further comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, please feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to answer those pretty quickly. And yeah, thank you for watching. If anyone would like to see the latest information on this, definitely recommend you check out the National Weather Service website, weather.gov, spc.noaa.gov, and also check out my Twitter page. It is at the Hurricane HQ. All those links are in the description below. I'll be posting on this event all day today, all the latest model runs and SPC forecasts. So if they do issue a moderate risk, then you will be in the know if you check out my Twitter page. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. It means a lot. If anyone, again, does have any comments or questions, put them down below and I'll answer them. And definitely recommend you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any weather updates or my live streams.